welcome back to my channel. It's STELLATHELIGHT. Today I'm going to be making a video all about my fitness journey, where I started in fitness, where I am now. I don't know what's going on with this ponytail. Something is up with my hair here, but that's besides the point. But yeah, let me just get right into this. To start with, I want to go over first what exactly led me to this point in my fitness and where I was before and where I started and everything. So let's backtrack like towards the end of high school. I was not active. I didn't play any sports really. I wasn't into anything. I truly was not a very active person. And then after high school was when I got into drugs and things. I still was clearly not active. And then during my recovery, my final recovery, I got into lifting and working out. So that's where my fitness and health really all began. And from there, I started to lift really, really heavy. So I got into it and I had gained weight previous to that, and I had started to lose some weight and it felt really good. So I was hooked. I was hooked into it. I felt good. I was doing it in a non-extreme way. I was just working out, being a little bit more active, going to the gym, starting workouts in my basement. We have some lifting equipment down there and I started lifting like that. And then progressively, I don't even know exactly when, it turned into severe restriction, severe calorie restriction, you know, not eating enough, and working out 1 to 2 times every single day. I would be in the gym once or twice, or I would go for a run and then go to the gym or something like that. So basically I was really just doing a little bit too much, and I didn't really notice it at the time until it came to a point where I sort of had feelings that I was forming an eating disorder, but I still was kind of in denial. So I would lift really, really heavy. I would try to lift, do heavy squats with the bar on your back, lifting heavy with my arms and the cables and all different things. And I did think that I was enjoying it, and I thought that that was like my passion, but I never really wanted to teach anybody how to do that. I always kind of kept my workouts and things like that to myself, just because I didn't think that many people would benefit from it, since I wasn't really benefiting from it. So, you know, it wasn't how I am now. Like now I promote the way that I live and the way that I eat to everyone and anyone, and I will teach anyone and everyone how to do this if they want to learn how I did it. But before, I really wasn't into that because I really didn't feel that passion. I felt really bad about myself. I didn't see many changes in my body. I just was feeling very tired, moody, lethargic. My digestion was terrible, and I would fluctuate up and down depending on how much I worked out, or if I like, you know, how much I ate or things like that. I did not have an easy and fun, loving relationship with my health, with my food, with my body, with my workouts. It was all very forced and all very extreme. So as soon as I found a plant-based lifestyle, I dropped all of my workouts. I did not go to the gym anymore, and I haven't been back to the gym in the same manner that I used to go to the gym since then. I used to go to the gym with the thought in mind of lift as heavy as you can, do as much cardio as you can, and burn as many calories as you can. And I used to count my calories in that aspect, how many calories I burnt, how many calories I took in. I would calculate and meticulate all of that, and it got a little bit crazy. Not a little bit crazy, it got really crazy. Anyways, so back to my fitness. As soon as I went plant-based, I dropped that and I took a break. I said to myself, you're gonna relax, you're going to heal your relationship with food and dive into this new plant-based lifestyle, and you need to just take a rest. And from there, I started feeling better. I started feeling more energy. My digestion was better. I felt lighter and more agile just in my everyday activities, not that lethargic, I want to go take a nap kind of thing. So from there, about 4 or 5 months in, I don't know exactly when, I started looking into yoga videos on YouTube, and I started to look into hiking. I was hiking a lot and I was going on adventures, and started walking Lola every day. So slowly I started having this craving for movement, not a craving for going to the gym, but a craving for making my days more whole. I really like I said, I started hiking and doing yoga and things like that, and those things just didn't hit me the same way that working out used to hit me, which in that aspect, working out, I would just feel depleted and run down. These actually made me feel more whole as a person, made me feel you know, they would help me mentally and physically. So in that aspect, I really do think that coming to this lifestyle had put me in such a better and more connected place with my body versus when I was doing, you know, what the mainstream community was doing, and that was going to the gym, doing these heavy workouts, hurting myself, and knowing I was in pain and tired and didn't want to do them, but forcing it anyways, only to restrict my calories and in turn, you know, turn down the path of an eating disorder and you know, an exercise obsession disorder. So that right there is the overall basis of then to now. I hope that that kind of made sense to you guys. And now I'm going to get into the questions that you guys asked me about my fitness and how my body changed, and there's just a lot of questions in here that I'm going to get into that you guys want answered. All right, I just needed to change my battery because it died. But let me go into, I'll do Instagram. Instagram got a lot of questions that were really good about the picture that I posted. You guys asked me a lot of really good questions that I'm going to answer. Wow, there is actually a lot. So let me start up here. All right, the first question from Madeline. Do you feel like your body is slimmer since stopping weights? What are your current thoughts on weight training, and do you prefer walking? So for the first question, do I feel like my body is slimmer? I really do. I have never really felt that lean feeling from working out, and this could just be from me. I don't know if other people do or don't, but when I was lifting, I was not stretching, and I was lifting a little bit too heavy, I think, and too much. And I was becoming very inflamed. I did have bigger muscles, so my arm muscles and my leg muscles were bigger, and that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it didn't make me feel like myself. I feel like I was trying to reach this unattainable kind of fitness look, and I was also fluctuating up and down a lot in my weight because I was working so hard that my body in reaction was wanting to eat more, so I would eventually binge out, but then I would restrict and work out more. So it was this cycle of, you know, losing a little bit of weight, gaining a little bit of weight, losing a lot of weight, gaining a lot of weight, up and down and all around. So I do feel like now, especially from stretching, because I never stretched before, my leg muscles, my arm muscles, even my core, it's very lean and long. My muscles have, and this is only a few years into my journey of yoga, so I'm not even as flexible or as you know, stretched out as I'd like to be, if that makes sense. But you know, I'm still on my journey, but in the comparison, 100%, yes, I do feel like I am leaner. I feel more agile. I feel not sore and achy. I felt kind of like an old person, I would imagine. My body just didn't feel like moving certain ways, and I would overwork my body. So definitely I do feel a lot leaner, slimmer. My current thoughts on weight training. I think that a little bit of weight training is great. I think to do it maybe once or twice a week for maybe even 2 to 3 times a week, depending on your goals and what you want, but making sure to include the other sides of health, the food intake, the rest, the stretching, the stamina, like cardiovascular. You have to include everything, and not in an extreme way. So if you're gonna be lifting 6 times a week for an hour or 2 at a time, I think that's a bit extreme, but I think that if you really should be working your muscles, and some resistance training or some body weight resistance training is really good for toning up and for building that muscle. And then once you have that foundation built, then from there it becomes I want to say a maintenance thing, but something where you don't have to work out 6 times a week to build muscle anymore. You can say, okay, I'm happy, I'm strong, I'm healthy, I'm agile, I'm flexible. You know, you're hitting all of the points. You have energy. You know, you want to get to that point versus the 6 times a week lifting so I can build muscles and have a 6-pack and have huge quads and huge back muscles, and you know, it's this kind of thing where you have to accept this is my body and my body's going to build muscle, but I can't force it to build muscle over a short period of time by forcing myself in the gym for hours and hours. And do I prefer walking? 100% yes. My walks every day with Lola are something that I think literally are so beneficial for me mentally and physically. We walk for about an hour, so it's not like a short walk. I get, you know, a good amount of exercise from it, I think. I don't really know, but it feels good, and that's all that I care about. So like, if I'm feeling good and it's making me feel good, I'm gonna keep doing it. You know, working out that way was not making me feel good, so I knew eventually I was going to have to stop. It was hurting me and not making me feel good. But this, walking Lola, I will do this probably for the rest of my life. I love walking, I love being outside, I love nature. So hiking and walking, 100% prefer it over the gym. I'll never, I don't think, get back into the gym and working out that way, because it just never benefited me in a way that I thought was, you know, worth it. I was a lot different back then mentally. I didn't take the time to handle my mental problems that I had going on. All I did was go to the gym and not eat enough food, basically. That was my mentality.